Welcome to Kodennected Voices, the podcast where lived experience meets trauma-informed truth. I'm Janine, founder of Kodennected, somatic trauma coach and specialist in narcissistic abuse recovery and neurodivergent well-being. Here, we talk about things most people avoid: workplace trauma, emotional manipulation, nervous system healing, and the power of reclaiming your voice. Whether you're navigating narcissistic abuse, parenting through neurodivergence, or rebuilding after burnout, this space is for you. Let's reconnect. Let's embody. Let's transform. You're listening to Kodennected Voices. Let's begin. Hi, I'm Janine, and welcome back to Kodennected Voices, the space where we reconnect, embody, and transform after narcissistic abuse and relational trauma. Today's episode is called, How Did You Get Here? It's a question I used to ask myself all the time. If you've ever been stuck in a relationship that feels like a roller coaster, where love and pain are intertwined, this one's for you. We're diving into trauma bonds, what they are, how your nervous system gets hooked, and why that tiny glimmer of hope, the maybe, can be so dangerously addictive. Let's come back to your body. Let's start to understand. A trauma bond is an emotional attachment formed through repeated cycles of abuse, followed by reconciliation or affection. It's not love, it's survival. In these bonds, the person hurting you is also the one offering moments of relief. That confusion, those highs and lows, keep your brain trapped in the loop. And here's what it could possibly look like. You defend someone who consistently mistreats you. You feel addicted to their approval, their attention, their crumbs of affection. You tell yourself, maybe it'll be different this time. This cycle is often rooted in childhood. If your early experiences taught you that love came with pain, unpredictability, or performance, you're more susceptible to trauma bonds later in life. So let's talk about the science behind why trauma bonds are so powerful. Back in the 1990s, researchers studying chimpanzees found something fascinating. When chimps were fed on a reliable, predictable schedule, they responded moderately. But when the feeding became unpredictable, their behavioral response intensified. The uncertainty, the maybe, made them more engaged, more fixated. It created a heightened, almost addictive response. This pattern is called intermittent reinforcement, and it's the strongest form of conditioning in both animals and humans. Slot machines use it, toxic relationships use it, and narcissistic abuse thrives on it. Maybe they'll say sorry. Maybe this time they'll mean it. Maybe I can get back to the good part. That maybe hooks your nervous system, and you keep going back. Not because you're weak, but because your brain has learned to crave the unpredictability. So what's happening in the body? When you're in a trauma bond, your nervous system is constantly being activated. Fight kicks in when you argue or push back. Flight when you fantasize about running. Freeze when you feel emotionally paralyzed. And fawn when you try to please your way back to safety. Over time, your body associates that person with danger and safety. It's deeply confusing. And if you've never known secure love, this chaos feels normal. Show yourself compassion. Your body is trying to keep you alive the best way it knows how. So how do you break the bond? First, you learn to name it. You start to notice the patterns. You gently teach your nervous system that safety doesn't live in someone else's approval. You start regulating. You stop waiting for the apology that never comes. You learn to grieve the fantasy, not the person. In my one-to-one coaching and trauma-informed group work, we explore these cycles in depth. I use a combination of somatic practices and internal family systems to help you reconnect with the parts of you that were forced to survive. You got here because your body believed this was love. But now that you know, you don't have to stay here. So I'll ask you again, how did you get here? And I'll follow it with something more powerful. Where do you want to go next? Join me on Instagram at Kodennected, and there you will find my Linktree link in my bio. Here you can download my 5 signs you might be in a covert narcissistic relationship, as well as my nervous system reset freebie. Message me on Instagram at Kodennected if you would like more information on a one-to-one narcissistic abuse recovery session. Show the world compassion and share this episode with someone who's asking the same questions you once did. But most of all, show yourself compassion. You are not broken, you're bonded, and you can break free. Take a breath and ask yourself, what would change if I truly believed I could heal? What would that kind of peace, that kind of safety be worth to you? I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you for joining me on Kodennected Voices. If something in today's episode spoke to you, trust that it mattered. Your story matters. If you'd like trauma-informed support as you heal, grow and reclaim your nervous system, you can connect with me via Instagram at Kodennected. And if you found this episode helpful, please share it, subscribe and leave a review. It helps this podcast reach those who are still learning how to feel safe again. Until next time, reconnect, embody, transform. This is Kodennected Voices.